I think we're live.
We're live, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So waiting for our guests to join. Dear friends, for those who joined already, we welcome you, but just a few minutes we will wait for maybe 1 minute or 30 seconds wait for others to join. Meanwhile, please let's check the connection. If you hear us well, if you see us well, please would very much appreciate if you could give us a signal that everything is okay, and so that we could start the webinar. Okay. Okay. It looks good. Okay, so time to start. Dear friends, we very much appreciate you joining our webinar about doing business in Hong Kong 2023. Our webinar will be in two parts. The first part will be about starting business and running business, some practical aspects, and the second part will be delivered by my colleague Marcus about the banking part and how to open a bank account, how to operate, and in general what opportunities are here in Hong Kong in terms of banking solutions. Okay, so I will start my presentation. Okay, so doing business in Hong Kong 2023. Just a few words about who we are. The webinar is hosted by the two companies, Vita Liberta company. Vita Liberta is a company secretary licensed by the Hong Kong Companies Registry to provide secretary services in Hong Kong, and Airwallex, the money service operator licensed by the Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department to provide payment services in Hong Kong. And here are the webinar speakers. Myself, Sergey Konon, I'm the CEO of Vita Liberta company, and Marcus, the partnership manager at Airwallex. So, yes, and we will try to make the webinar precise and not very long in order to save you time, but we will try to deliver you up-to-date, accurate information about doing business in Hong Kong. So, speaking about benefits of setting up a business in Hong Kong, in most cases, we speak about advantages that Hong Kong as a jurisdiction offers for foreign investors. And pointing out the benefits, the advantages of Hong Kong, I would start from the first one. It is 100% shareholder and management of foreign 100% foreign shareholder and management possible in Hong Kong. So you, as a foreign citizen, may establish a company in Hong Kong, be 100% shareholder, and also you may be the only director of your company without the need to hire any local director or any other local staff. For example, compared to other jurisdictions, for example, Singapore, where there is a requirement to hire a local director, which gives you no additional benefit, but just a formal requirement that takes extra costs and extra procedures. In Hong Kong, there is no such requirement. So foreign investor can come here, set up business and be the only director of the company. So this is the first and very important advantage of Hong Kong. The second one, from my point of view, is the language barrier, because Hong Kong has two official languages, Chinese and English language is widely used everywhere, and it is a must language for government organizations, and it is easy for foreign investor to come here to understand the laws, the procedures, and there is no need to hire a translator or additional staff. And again, it saves costs for foreign investors to start business here. The third advantage of Hong Kong is the favorable tax system, which provides some very interesting and motivating benefits for the profits that are sourced outside Hong Kong. There is so-called a territorial principle of taxation. This principle says that if your profits are received outside Hong Kong, so this profit is not subject to corporate profit tax. And if you receive profits from Hong Kong, this profit is subject to corporate profit tax, but we will speak about later. Still, this profit tax is one of the lowest in the world. This territorial system of taxation doesn't distinguish between tax resident, whether you are a tax resident or not. You may be a tax resident of Hong Kong, but if you receive profit outside Hong Kong, you won't pay corporate tax on that profit, and vice versa. You may be non-resident of Hong Kong, but if you receive profits from this territory, you will be liable to pay corporate tax. As most of foreign investors do business worldwide, and this is, of course, very interesting for business. Another advantage of Hong Kong is the absence of VAT tax. So you don't need to add up to the cost of your goods or services in invoices. You don't have this bureaucratic procedure to report the VAT and pay the VAT. And it eliminates a lot of problems and difficulties compared to other jurisdictions. And to add, for example, in other jurisdictions, if you do Google advertising, you have to pay, Google takes VAT in accordance with the tax legislation of that country. If you do advertising from Hong Kong and Hong Kong doesn't have VAT, Google doesn't take you this VAT tax, which saves quite a lot of money if you have a good Google budget. Another advantage of Hong Kong is the absence of tax to pay dividends to shareholders. So if you have shareholders, one or many of shareholders, and you pay dividends out of profits, you don't incur any extra costs on payment of these dividends, which is also very beneficial. To add more, Hong Kong is a absolutely open economy. There is no currency control in Hong Kong. There are no tariffs on import and export. There is free flow of capital, and you can register business just simply in one day with a minimum share capital. There is no requirement to actually pay a share capital, and the minimum share capital is $1 Hong Kong, which makes it very easy to start up, because startups don't often possess a lot of funds, and in order to start, Hong Kong provides maybe the best conditions in the world. Okay. I think yes, those were the most important advantages of Hong Kong. Also, and Marcos will speak about this later. In Hong Kong, as a matter of fact, you can open a bank account remotely online, which is also a good motivating factor to start up here. So here are the advantages. So what are the requirements to start business in Hong Kong? I won't stay here alone. It's very easy. You have to choose company type, which in most cases is a limited liability company. You have to appoint a shareholder and director, which may be you. You must be older than 18 years old and with no criminal record. You must have a valid passport and proof address. You have to choose the company name, which must be unique. Appoint a share capital. The minimum one is $1 but a standard practice in Hong Kong is 10,000 Hong Kong dollars nominated capital. You have to draft articles of association, choose company secretary and business address. All this is done in a matter of 1 day by your company secretary. So here's quite a standard procedure, and we won't stop here long. Once you established your business, of course, there are certain ongoing annual requirements for the company to comply with local laws and regulations. It is everywhere in the world, and of course, Hong Kong has such requirements as well, but they are very minimal. Every year you have to renew your business registration, which is paying the state duty to Inland Revenue Department and getting the updated valid business registration certificate, which must be kept at the place of your business registration. You have to file annual return with the company's registry, updating the particulars of director, shareholder, and company secretary, and some company particulars. The annual return is filed within the 42 days from the company anniversary date. Also, you have to maintain a local registered address, which can't be a post box address, but must be a real address. But in most cases, you are provided with a registered address by your company secretary. You have to maintain a company secretary. Yes, it is a statutory requirement in Hong Kong, and company secretary is responsible that your company complies with laws and regulations concerning your company. And I will add some more about registered address. Hong Kong company must have a registered address in Hong Kong. It is a statutory requirement, but also a Hong Kong company may have a business address, actual business address, which may be placed outside of Hong Kong. And it is a standard practice. You must maintain a significant controller register. Every company in Hong Kong must identify significant controllers and maintain a significant controller register, which is also done by your company secretary. And if you, during your business in Hong Kong, you have some changes in your passport details, or maybe changes in director, shareholder structure, any changes must be reported with the company registry, usually within 14 days after the change happened. And hold annual general meeting, which is usually done after 6 months from the date of from the date of the end of the financial year. So these are the annual ongoing compliance requirements. There are some financial reporting requirements, but we will speak about them a bit later. Speaking about corporate income tax, yes, Hong Kong has a territorial system of taxation where profits received outside Hong Kong are freed from corporate tax. And also Hong Kong adopts a two-tier profit tax regime. What does this mean? This two-tier profit tax regime relates to profits received in Hong Kong. And even here, the Hong Kong offers the perfect conditions for business. For small and medium-sized business, if your profit is less than 2 million Hong Kong dollars in the year of assessment, your corporate profit tax is going to be 8.25%, which is the lowest profit tax in the world. And for big business whose profit is above than 2 million Hong Kong dollars, the corporate profit tax is going to be 16.5%, which is also one of the lowest profit tax in the world. It is worth mentioning that the two-tier profit tax regime can be implemented only for one company within the group. So if you have a group of companies, you have to choose, you have to appoint that company that will be using this two-tier profit tax regime. Let's consider some practical applications of territorial system of taxation, because it sounds easy, but sometimes implementation of it is a bit more difficult. For example, if your company has a trading business in Hong Kong, the general rule is where the contracts of purchase and sale are effected in Hong Kong, the profits are taxable here. We should stop here on the word affected. It is not a single action which leads to identification of the territory. It is the combination of actions starting from negotiating the possibility of conclusion of contract, negotiating the terms of the contract, the actual signing of the contract, the persons who signed the contract, do they reside in Hong Kong or not? Also, a matter of importance, how the goods were procured and stored, how the goods were delivered to the customer and from where they were delivered, whether the Hong Kong ports were used for this or not. So it is a combination of factors that lead to establishment of the possibility to use the territorial system of taxation. If you have rental business, for example, it is much easier. If your property is located in Hong Kong, you are subject to your profits are subject to profit tax. If not, your profits are not subject to profit tax. If you have a commission business, so it is a matter where the commission activities were performed. It is the same as trading business, like where there were negotiations, where there was actual signing of the contract and by whom it was done, and some other factors. For example, if your company trading in shares, so if you are trading in shares in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, your profits from sale or purchase of shares will be subject to tax. But if it is another stock exchange, your profits are not going to be subject to tax. And if you sell unlisted shares, so it is the matter of how and where the sale and purchase contract was effected. And again, it is a combination of factors. It is not a single understanding of some action. Manufacturing business is where if the goods are manufactured in Hong Kong, then they will be taxed. The profit will be taxed. If the goods are manufactured outside Hong Kong, profits are not going to be taxed. And if the goods are manufactured partly in Hong Kong and partly outside, those part that is manufactured outside is going to be released from corporate tax. Okay. So once your business is running, once a year you have a financial reporting responsibility. It is also quite straightforward, but it is very important to comply with it in full. Once a year, you have to provide to Inland Revenue Department the profit tax return with information about profits of your company. In case of a newly registered business, the Inland Revenue Department will issue the first profit tax return after 18 months from the commencement date of your business or from the incorporation date. So Hong Kong government here gives also starting business the time to start up, to move the startup, to make the startup going, and doesn't bother with any financial reporting before that. So it's also very good factor. Also, once a year you have to prepare a balance sheet, profit loss account, and auditor's report. Audit is a mandatory requirement in Hong Kong, and it must be done. But once the company has an audit, it gives your company more reputation in the eyes of your counterparties, in the eyes of financial institutions. So it's also a very beneficial factor, as a matter of fact. Also, you have to provide a tax computation showing the amount of accessible profits or losses for the financial year. And if your company received profits outside Hong Kong, then you provide an offshore tax claim to claim that you are not subject to tax on this profit. And your company must maintain accurate accounting documentation and once a year provide an employee's return reporting. This is like the financial reporting responsibility of your company. It is worth to point out that in Hong Kong, there is no strict requirement to do everyday accounting. It is possible. You can do it, but it is not obligatory. You must keep all accounting documentation in order, but it is enough. It is enough to do financial reporting once a year, to prepare the balance sheet, profit and loss account, auditor's report, and provide annual return with accurately calculated profit or loss to Inland Revenue Department. For small corporations whose profit is less than 2 million Hong Kong dollars, there is they still have to do the audit, but they are not obliged to provide the audit to the Inland Revenue Department. Still, we recommend to do this because if you want to claim the application of offshore tax, in this case, it is beneficial to provide all documentation to Inland Revenue Department to prove that your profits were sourced outside Hong Kong. Okay, and in 2023, on the 1st of January, just recently, some amendments were introduced and came into operation regarding the specified foreign sourced income. So actually, it is the first time in history of Hong Kong when some income received outside Hong Kong is going to be taxed. It sounds not good, but let's consider this in more details to understand what this amendment is about and what implications it is going to have on business. So, first of all, this amendment is about the passive income. So, in passive income such as interest, dividend, intellectual property, and disposal gain income, income from disposable of some interest in equity. So only these passive profits received by Hong Kong company outside Hong Kong may be subject to corporate tax. Let's go further. The company must be a member of a multinational group. So basically, the Hong Kong company is part of some group through direct ownership or through other control, the company, Hong Kong company, has permanent establishments in other jurisdictions. So only passive income, and only to companies who are members of multinational group. And further, this income may be taxed only when it is actually remitted to Hong Kong. So the income is remitted to or transmitted or brought into Hong Kong, or the income is used to satisfy any debt incurred in respect of trade, professional business carried on in Hong Kong, or the income is used to buy movable property, or the property is brought into Hong Kong. The income is regarded as being received at the time when the movable property is brought into Hong Kong. Just maybe in more simple words. So if your Hong Kong company receive dividends from abroad, for example, dividends, and your company is a member of multinational group, these dividends come really to your Hong Kong company. This income sourced outside Hong Kong may be taxed, but there are exceptions and exemption opportunities for these specified foreign source income regime. If, for example, if you have a holding company and your holding company owns some shares in other companies, and this is your main business. You receive dividends from your assets, located in other parts of the world. If you receive this income, and if your company corresponds to the economic substance requirement, you are not going to be taxed at profit tax. Economic substance requirement means that the level of company operations must be correspondent to the actual activity of the company, the number of staff, the premises where the business is done. So in simple words, your company must have office in Hong Kong, local staff in Hong Kong, and this staff must be in adequate quantity and in adequate qualification to generate those profits that you receive from your investments. If your company qualifies, so even if you receive such passive income, you are not going to be taxed in Hong Kong. If your company doesn't meet this criteria, then there is another criteria, which is participation requirement. And participation requirement says that if your company owns at least 5% of the shares in another company within the 1 year prior to receiving the dividends. In this case, you also may be freed from paying corporate tax on this dividend. And with regards to intellectual property, for example, if you receive royalties from abroad for using your intellectual property, there is a nexus requirement which is a bit complex, but in a simple words, it is also the matter of how your expenditures correspond to the level of activity and the level of royalties received. Okay, I think I tried to make it as simple as possible. If you have any questions, I will answer them later. Just we will keep going on. Okay, I think here I said this. Conditions for participation requirement. Okay, here also I said this. So let's imagine that you started business in Hong Kong and it is going smoothly. You grow, and for example, you feel the need to be present here more often and to actually work here in Hong Kong. In this case, you may get a visa to which will permit you to live in Hong Kong longer than the general visa allows, and also which will enable you to work in Hong Kong, because without visa permit you can't work in Hong Kong. It is a criminal offense. So we can point out actually two visas. It is employment visa if you are going to find an employment in Hong Kong, if you possess some unique qualification, unique knowledge, and you have an offer from your employer which can be easily taken by a local staff. In this case, you may pretend to get this employment visa if your employer will be your sponsor and will provide you with accommodation, salary level adequate to this position and to market level and so on. So if all criteria I meet, you may get this visa and work for this company. For entrepreneurs, there is another kind of visa, investment as an entrepreneur's visa, and this is for those who establish business, for business owners. For investment as an entrepreneur's visa may apply a company that already has been running business in Hong Kong for a long time, or may apply even a newly established company. There is no requirement about that. But of course, for a newly established company, it is there are more requirements to provide the sufficient proof that the company is going to contribute to the development of Hong Kong economy, because this is one of the most important factors to prove that your business in Hong Kong is going to be provide substantial contribution to the economy of Hong Kong. And yes, you need to provide some documentation like a 2-year business plan, a forecast for your profit and loss and balance sheet, documentation showing that you invested enough capital in Hong Kong company, but there is no indication of what level of capital. So it's case by case. For example, if you're the owner of other companies in other countries, you have to provide balance financial statements of those companies to show that, to demonstrate that you have relevant experience to set up similar business here or even bigger. You have to provide the estimation of how many local jobs you are going to create, and maybe how your technology may be beneficial to Hong Kong environment. So, and there is a dependent visa. Both types of visas, employment visa or entrepreneur's visa, provide the opportunity to bring your family members to Hong Kong to live with you here. So basically, thank you very much for your kind attention. I am finished on my part, and with great pleasure, I will give the word to my colleague Marcus, who will bring you a much more interesting subject about banking solutions in Hong Kong. I will switch the slide, or you can do it.
I think
okay, maybe I can help. Okay.
Do you want to mute your mic and shut on the mic?
Oh.
Just here.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. Yeah, okay. No worries. Sort out everything. So thank you very much, Sergey, for the introduction. So I think after his sharing, it's quite clear that Hong Kong is, one of the best places to start your business, right? The very friendly tax structure, and in terms of setup, there's not a lot of requirements. So if there is interest to set up your company in Hong Kong, the next step, very naturally, is to have a bank account set up, right? So you can start receiving money from your clients, and you can also pay your staff and pay your different vendors. So my topic for today is to introduce to you all an idea of a fintech account, fintech business account, which is a little bit different from traditional banks, because as we all know, especially in Hong Kong, the relationship with bank accounts is like a love-hate relationship, maybe a little bit more hate than love, because the AML and the KYC and due diligence can be quite off-putting. But there are actually alternative banking solutions like Air Wallets, which are providing a much cheaper and much more efficient account opening process, which I will be introducing to you all. So looking at SMEs and companies in Hong Kong in general, there are three main kind of reasons for them not being able to access bank accounts. So the first one is compliance reasons. So this is like mainly due to business, the industry that they're in, maybe certain kind of nationality of the business owners, which is causing difficulties in getting access to bank accounts. The second one is for like business reasons, because a lot of traditional banks, not just in Hong Kong but around the world, if you apply for an account, the relationship manager will basically look at how much volume your business is bringing in, like what is the commercial opportunity for the bank, right? Are you expecting to send millions of dollars through the bank, or just a few thousand? So for banks, they usually focus on the bigger corporate clients, while not giving as much attention to the smaller business owners as they'd like, which is slowing down the account opening process quite significantly. And the third one, and the final reason, is quite obvious, practical difficulties. So this includes having business owners to fly over to Hong Kong for face-to-face interviews with the bank manager, and this is something that couldn't really happen due to during COVID. Now that Hong Kong has its border reopened, it's very easy to come and open an account here. But if you want to save time traveling and save the cost of booking hotels and getting a plane ticket, there are actually ways that you can set up an online banking account from anywhere in the world. So you don't have to even come to Hong Kong to sign any agreements or contracts. Okay. So the idea of Air Wallets, so I want you to imagine, right? So you look at this slide here, you see all these different currencies, you see all these different locations of the bank accounts. So imagine if you go to a bank, you submit for an application, and once your account has been approved, you can have access to local bank accounts in 9 different countries, right? So this is something that a fintech platform, and fintech stands for financial technology. So a platform like Airworks, this is something that we can offer our clients. First is traditional banks. Let's say you go to HSBC or like Standard Chartered Bank in Hong Kong or DBS, and you open an account. That account is just in Hong Kong, right? So which is good to get you started. But if you want to expand your business to different markets, let's say to the US, to Singapore, Malaysia, or European countries, you can do this with actually just a few clicks of a button after your account has been approved. And how we are able to offer this is because Air Wallets, we are partnering with many different banks around the world. So in Hong Kong, for example, we have Standard Chartered Bank. In Singapore, we have DBS. In Australia, we have ANZ. So it is through these banking partnerships where the banks, they have the trust in us. So we actually carry out the due diligence on the clients ourselves. And so the banks are actually they don't even have to interfere. So once an account has been opened, we can right away offer these banking services to our clients. So it's like a package and like a bundle bank account service. Yes. So here I'm showing you an actual like screenshot from our platform, like the interface. So you actually have a drop-down menu here. You can just select whichever accounts that you need. And by default, you can actually open up to 50 different accounts. So you can actually have multiple accounts in the same location. I think later on, I can also show you a live demo of our platform and how everything works and how everything looks. Right. So I talked about the bank account setting up part. So that is mainly for you to receive funds from your clients. So what happens if you want to pay money to your staff or to your vendors? So with a similar logic, on the left here, you will see what the traditional banks are offering. So the traditional bank mainly works through a system called SWIFT. So this is the system that they use to do international transfers, right? So let's say you're based in, you're based in Hong Kong, you want to pay someone in the US, your local bank will have to work with different intermediary banks and then ultimately get the money to the recipient. So this includes a lot of transaction cost, which can cost up to around $30. And it also takes quite a long time for the recipient to receive the money. So with Air Wallets, we're actually bypassing the SWIFT system. So let's say, using the same example, you want to pay someone in the US. So we already have a partnering bank in the US. So what happens is that we will instruct the local bank in US to make a direct payment to the recipient so that money doesn't need to travel cross-border. And the result is that the transaction is free of charge. So you never have to pay again for any SWIFT transaction fees. And your recipient also receives money much more quickly. So it kind of helps improve your relationships with your suppliers or with your employees. So we're making the whole financial service, and we'll call it the financial operating system. Very, very easy and user-friendly one. Okay, so in terms of how the account actually operates, I would like to share actually a live demo of our platform with you all. So let me stop my share screen and move over to here. Right. So the user experience is very similar to online banking or virtual banking. So you will create an account online. So what you can do is you can if you sign up through our partner Sergey's Visa Liberta, you actually have your application prioritized. So usually we see accounts being opened within just a week. Okay, but let's say you already have your account set up. This is what it looks like. So you log in, you will see our services on the left. So you see the wallet, and this is what allows you to receive funds. We have global accounts. So these are basically the virtual bank accounts that I mentioned. So you can just select whichever you want. The Hong Kong account is more special, so it is a multi-currency account, and you can select whichever currency that you want. So let's say you want a Hong Kong dollar account in Hong Kong, you can just create that. And let's say if you want another account in euros, you can repeat the same process. And once an account has been opened, you will find your account details here. So you will have your accounts directly in your business, your company name. That's displayed on your Hong Kong business registration. You'll also have your unique account number along with all the other banking details that you need, like the bank code, the SWIFT code, and you can see that the bank that you have the account with is Standard Chartered Bank. So this is how we're able to help clients and help business owners get their bank account set up very quickly. And if you, after, let's say you have received money, you want to convert currencies, we also have foreign exchange services available. So our conversion rates are quoted to you in real time. So there are no other hidden fees. Okay, so moving on to transferring funds. So this is basically no different than doing a bank transfer. So in this example, you can see you can put in how much you want to send to your recipient. Let's say I want to send $100 $1,000 to a business located in the US. So you can see here, I mentioned that the transfer fee costs nothing. You can see the approximate transfer time here, 1 to 2 days. And this doesn't only apply to US, so we can facilitate free international transfers for over 60 different countries. So including the most common, like UK, all the countries in Southeast Asia, we have coverage. So this is how we're able to help companies, save costs. And let's say you want to execute multiple payments at once, you can generate an Excel file from our platform. So you can just put in all the information here, the source currency, where the recipient is based, what currency do you want to pay in? Are they a personal or an individual? Are they a company or an individual? And the payment method. Download this Excel file, and then input the bank account details as well as the payment amounts, and then finally upload the file here to process all the payments in one go. So, and one very common use case for this is to pay staff and contractors globally. And third, which is the second last service that we have, is that once an account has been opened with Airwallex, you can immediately get access to corporate Visa cards. So these are debit cards for now, but we will be releasing credit cards later this year. So we support both virtual and physical cards. So for virtual cards, how they work is that we allow our clients to create up to 50 different cards. And the purpose is that clients, they no longer have to use just one card to pay for all their business expenses. So they can actually divide their different business expenses into different categories. So let's say you can create one card just to pay for your marketing, let's say your Google ads, your Facebook ads, and you can marketing spend, okay? And you can also set a monthly or like a weekly or daily limit on this card. Okay. So let's say I'm setting this card for marketing and set a monthly limit of 10,000 US dollars. I can also invite my other colleagues to have access and manage this card. And after clicking create card, it takes a few seconds, but the process is almost instant, and you will get access to the card number. Don't try to use this card; it doesn't work. It is only for demo. But you have basically very quick access to a corporate card that can be used at any merchant that accepts Visa. Okay, and the second best thing about the card is that it is also multi-currency. So you no longer have to, use your credit card, which is issued by a local bank. So, for example, if you use a credit card issued by a Hong Kong bank to pay for a purchase in US dollar, they will convert Hong Kong dollars to US dollars at a very expensive exchange rate, and then use that to pay for your purchase. So with our cards, they come in 10 different currencies. So if you're paying for something in US dollars, we will just take US dollars in your wallet here to pay for that purchase. So we don't force you to convert currencies, and kind of just avoid any unnecessary costs for you. And finally, for our Hong Kong clients, they can also have access to something called Get Paid. So this is a function that allows you to collect credit card payments from your customers. So this is quite similar to PayPal. So you can create a payment link. Let's say I want to collect 100 US dollars from my clients, and for a service fee, I can just create this link and copy this link and share it with them through email, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever different channel. And once your client clicks this link, they will see this page. They'll see your logo, they'll see your company name, what they are paying for, and the payment amounts. And after they click continue the payment, your client can then choose whichever payment method that they prefer to use. So there's actually a lot, like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Union Pay, Alipay, WeChat Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, you name it. So after your client has made the payment, it usually takes around 3 to 5 days, and then you will see the payments here. You will see all the payments activity, and ultimately, you will see the funds available in your balance. So since I was collecting US dollars, I will see the 100 US dollars being added to my USD wallet. So that's a very quick overview of our account. Sorry if I kind of rushed the introduction, but it's a very quick introduction of our capabilities. And our goal is to really kind of bundle all these different financial services that clients use on a daily basis for their company's operation, and just make things more efficient and cost efficient for clients. Let me move back to our presentation. Okay. Great. Okay, we're back. So as I mentioned, the process is quite simple. So you can create your account completely for free online. There are no account opening fees. There are no monthly maintenance fee, and there's also no account minimum balance. So you can get started at a very cheaply for free, and you submit your documents online. Okay, you don't ever need to come to Hong Kong. At most, if we are unable to verify your passport, we will request a Zoom interview. You just need to hold your passport, and our team will verify your identity there. And by opening your account through our partner, Vita Liberta, your application will also be prioritized above others. And you will see your accounts usually open within 5 days, and you can have immediate access to those virtual bank accounts, and you can also use our cards right away. And for ongoing support, we also have a team. So there's actually a human person that you can reach out to for any questions or issues regarding your account. Okay, I think I have covered most of what I wanted to cover today. I think there are some questions that we can go through afterwards, right?
Thank you very much, Marcus.
Thank you, Sergey.
It is a perfect presentation, and we even had a live, real-time presentation of the features and the online features how to use, and it's very important to see. So we have some questions. We have some questions from Alexander. Does AirWallex have bank license? If not, what sort of license AirWallex has?
Okay. So yeah, happy to answer that, Alexander. So AirWallex, we don't have a banking license, but we are regulated in all the jurisdictions, different countries that we operate in. So because we are ultimately working with banks, so clients, they are actually covered by the any relevant protection that or like safety protection insurance that the banks are offering. But for AirWallex ourselves, we have, for example, in Hong Kong, we have the money service operator license. In Singapore, we have the we call it the major payments institution license that is issued by the Monetary Authority of Singapore. So basically, I'm not going to go into too much details, but it basically allows us to provide the services that we are offering to our clients legally, and we are also regulated by like the local governments in each jurisdiction.
Okay. Artur is asking, are accounts available for Estonian companies?
Estonia. Oh, let me check right away. I believe yes, we do.
So Estonian company can
Estonian company, yes, but of course you should look into opening a Hong Kong company for tax reasons. So I can share with you. Let me share with you. So there's actually a list of all the different jurisdictions, like entities that we support. So I just shared a link in the chat. You can have a look there. So there are actually 55 entities that we support.
Okay, Vladimir is asking, sales company, if HK company received money from outside of HK and forward. Vladimir, the question is not entirely clear. Maybe you could collaborate on this in more details. Any additional costs as annual account maintenance?
Yeah, so we don't have any such cost. So basically where charges will incur will be like foreign exchange. So I briefly demonstrated that just now. So in the currency exchange rate that you see on the screen, it actually already includes a service charge.
Does AirWallex support trade? For example, does it provide letter of credit documentation?
Okay, so that's something that we do not support yet. So we are mainly for companies like operation. We are not providing any like guarantee or letter of credit services right now.
Okay, clear. What is the number of account looks like?
What is the number of account?
I think it means is it a standard bank account
Yes. Yeah, it's just like any other bank account number. So I think I showed on the screen just now. The account number is it's just any other bank account number. I think maybe a more popular question for us is like what does the account name look like? Because obviously you have to share your bank details with your clients. I know some other providers in the market, they are not able to directly provide the accounts in the client's entity name. But that's something that we can do. So if your company is ABC Limited, your account name will be ABC Limited.
Perfect. And Daria is asking an interesting question. Good afternoon. My name is Daria. I had a Hong Kong company. They export bananas all over the world, and the director and shareholder are Russian citizens. The company is very large. The main company is the main exporter of bananas in Ecuador. But I was refused to open an account. What could be the reason for this?
So, Dari, are you saying that you have tried opening an account with us or with another bank? So I think as a general question, because I also see a similar question for us, it is possible for us to open accounts for Russian passport holders, but there are actually two conditions to this. So first one being that the company that you are trying to open the account for cannot have any transactions with Russia. It's actually not something that our company can decide on because we are ultimately working with banks, like I mentioned. So unfortunately, we have to follow their compliance and their rules, like sanction rules. But we try to take a more flexible approach. So the first condition being that there cannot be any money transaction between from and to Russia, and the second is that the shareholders, or well, to be more precise, the ultimate beneficiary owners, so those with more than 25% shares, and the directors of the company have to reside out of Russia. So, and to prove this, you can simply provide like utility bill, like bank statement that shows your like address proof. So with these two conditions satisfied, it is possible that we can open accounts. Of course, like reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, Daria wrote that yes, it was
with AirWallex. Okay. Yeah, so maybe we can take another look at this. But yeah, I think I mentioned those two conditions. So maybe your company didn't meet one of those. I'm not sure.
Perfect. Alexander is asking, is AirWallex service like Revolut Pay service?
Revolut Pay. So I actually don't know much about Revolut Pay. Okay, so we also have a similar service. I think it's the last service that I introduced. So the one where you can create different payment links and send to your clients. So that is quite similar to Revolut Pay because the ultimate goal is to allow your clients to pay using credit card. It's basically online payments. So it's quite similar. But in addition, we also offer like corporate cards and like the virtual bank accounts that I showed.
And Andrew is asking, can AirWallex open bank accounts for foreign companies? I think we answered.
Yes. So Andrew, I think I answered this. You can refer to the website that I shared.
Okay. Are there any restrictions for gambling sites and online casinos? It will service only international users. Hong Kong residents will be restricted to use the service.
I think that's for you.
That some part is for me. Actually, this kind of activity is regulated in most countries of the world. I can't answer for Hong Kong now. We should check this. And Simon, we can later write you about this. Maybe does AirWallex support such kind of activity?
Okay. So unfortunately, the gambling it's outside of our scope of service.
Yes. So if you, it is really true that many banks and money service operators don't support such kind of activity because it's very risky in terms of AML issues. And so maybe you should consider some other jurisdiction for this, but we will read out the requirements for setting up such business in Hong Kong and what are those requirements. Okay, Hussein, hope the webinar sent via email as a recording. Oh, okay, some time difference. Okay, sorry, Hussein, for this, but we had to choose some time, and unfortunately, yes, there is some difference for some countries. How much? Alexander is asking how much it circa costs to provide the company an audit for holding company with a few operations in a year in Hong Kong. Yeah, Alexander, it's not. It doesn't cost much really if the company has a few operations. If you could write to us, our managers will provide you the clear information about the cost. So you have a price table where you could calculate your cost yourself for this service. Dmitry is asking, will you send the recording of the meeting by email, please? Yes, sure, we will do this. And I think it will be done even automatically. Alexander, okay. Does English law still make an effect in Hong Kong now in business? Yes, it's true. The common law principle is in place. Total cost of formation with export license will be what? Approximately budget for first year and then second year, please. Thank you for the question. The cost of formation is starts from I think $690 US, but you can contact our team, sales department, and they will provide you with the total cost for your project. And by the way, it's a good news that export license for you may be not required because export-import activity in Hong Kong isn't a licensed activity. You can do it unless for certain types of products imported in Hong Kong or exported outside Hong Kong. But if you do international export-import, there is no need to do license for this. Okay. I mean, this company doesn't need the company that has been set. Alexander is asking, does need the company that has been set up to hire an office getting so-called substance in Hong Kong? Alexander, good question. There is no such requirement. You don't need to hire an office, and actually, the company when registered is provided with real office, real registered address. It is a real office where your company is registered, and to this address, your company receive government correspondence from government authorities, and you don't need to rent some other work. At least there is no such requirement. It is up to you. It is up to the stage of development of your business, but there's no such requirement. Okay, I think we have some more questions. What is the meaning of prioritizing of opening account for the reporter? What will be the steps of such submittance?
Okay, so I can take that. So by prioritizing, this basically means, so there are two types of clients, right? So one type is those who sign up through our partners. Okay, so the other type, second type, is those who sign up directly on our company website, which is like the majority of our clients. So prioritizing basically means your application will be processed before the second type of clients. Yeah, so it's generally much quicker. And the steps, I think probably, I think Sergey will probably send some instructions in an email after this webinar for like clear instructions on how to submit an application.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we have some questions. Natalia is asking, do you accept companies from Seychelles?
Yeah. Hi, Natalia. Yes, we do accept companies from Seychelles.
Perfect. Can you please advise on deposit insurance and more info on your bank pool network?
Okay. So in terms of deposit insurance, so we get this asked a lot. So this is basically, this will be covered by the banks that we are working with, because for our clients' funds, they're actually kind of sitting in a segregated accounts, which is separate from our own company's operation funds. So you'll be subject to the any deposit guarantee schemes that are offered by the banks that we're working with. So for example, in Hong Kong, I think for each account, that's 300,000 Hong Kong dollars or something, or 500,000 Hong Kong dollars. In terms of our banking partner pool, I don't think we have that publicly, but let's say once you have an account open, you can basically see all the different banks that we work with. So I mentioned like Standard Chartered, DBS, ANZ. In the US, it is a bank called Community Federal Savings Bank. In Europe, we are working with LVH Bank. In Canada, it is one called Digital Commerce Bank. So we have different selected partners in each country that we operate in. Hopefully that helped answer your question.
So there are much more questions. Do you have?
I think.
Okay.
Should we?
We will answer all questions. Can you specify in written those two conditions for opening the bank account for Russia and Belarus citizens after the webinar? I think we can write you our managers could write you
sure.
the conditions. So are there any restrictions to crypto and IT projects?
Okay, so crypto and IT are quite different. Crypto, I think, is still very new, and banks in general are not very open to cryptos yet. We share a similar stance. So right now, if for businesses that deal directly in cryptocurrency, it will be difficult for us to open accounts for them. To be honest, if you are dealing with purely blockchain technology, then definitely we can look into that. IT, as long as it's not crypto related. I mean, if let's say you are a IT company building blockchain projects for crypto companies, that's also fine, because you're not trading in cryptocurrency, you're not selling NFTs or all that. So that's fine.
Thank you, Marcus. And Andrew is asking, we were trying to open bank account with our Cyprus company, but we have been rejected. Is it possible to try once again whom to send information?
Yes. So I replied privately to Andrew. So yeah, I can help you follow up on your application.
Okay. I'm going to extend currencies list, Indian rupees, for example.
Yes, we do have plans. So we actually have a team that is very focused on expanding our network of banking partners. So Indian rupees is definitely on the list of priority, and it should come sometime later this year.
Vladimir is collaborating on his initial question to outside company and the goods without coming to HK. Will HK company be taxed? Yes, Vladimir, thank you for the question. As a general rule, if your trade is happening outside of Hong Kong, so you may pretend your corporate tax to be exempt. So once you end the financial year, you prepare the balance sheet, profit and loss account, make an audit, and provide those documents with profit tax return and offshore tax claim to the IRD department. If Inland Revenue Department has some issues, some questions to you, they will send you additional information to provide, to answer. And after that, it will be totally clear. But as a general rule, it seems that your operations are freed from corporate tax in Hong Kong. Vladimir is asking, so are Belarus and Russian citizens able to open your accounts?
Yes, so subject to the two conditions. So we will share that, in the email.
Subject to condition and subject to general compliance.
Yes, general compliance.
Yes, if the business is suitable for air voids. Alexander is asking, what is the top limit of funds that one may hold at your business account with air voids?
Okay, I see a lot of questions being asked by Alexander. So there's actually no limit in terms of the amount of funds. So we have clients with millions of US dollars in their account. So there's no limit. Maybe the question is like, how to actually receive those big amounts into their account. So usually when a client is expecting to receive or send large volumes of funds, it's always a good idea, and we encourage the client to provide any supporting documents to us in advance, so we can submit to our team to avoid any hold up in the release of those funds.
Vadim is asking, can we start with any restrictions from the air wallets while doing regular business procedure in it?
Procedure. Let me see. Where is that question?
It is at the top.
Oh, at the top.
Yeah.
Can we start with any restriction? I'm not sure if I understand the question.
I don't understand it either. So maybe Vadim, maybe you could ask it once again, just in another form. Do you have any prioritizing in type of the business of your client?
No, not really. We don't prioritize based on business nature.
Does the insurance deposit apply for each independent currency account held at different banks?
Independent. Yes. So basically, if you receive money through your Hong Kong account, like your funds will be at Standard Chartered Bank, and if you open a US account, they will be at Communities Federal Savings Bank, which is our banking partner in the US. Yes. So
I think we answered all the questions which were on our list. Dear friends, if you have some questions, please write them. If no questions, then anyway, we would like to thank you for this almost 1 hour and 20 minutes being with us. It's precious to have your time, to have your attention, and from our side, we only wish you the best in your business. Only the best. So go forward.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you very much again for attending this webinar, and thank you, Sergey, very much for inviting us to be part.
Thank you, Marcus, very much for being with us as well.
Okay.
Dear friends, thank you. See you next time.
Yep. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.